Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by Ghostbed.com.
Welcome to Drinkin' Bros podcast, kids. This is it. We've reached the pinnacle. I don't know where to go after today, Dan. This is it. The Podfather's here.
Yeah.
The inventor of the podcast, I feel like.
Yeah, we've also got, there's like this degrees of separation situation because the guy, I think one of the people who helps run your cruise stuff is also helped us before, Travis Anderson.
It's true. It's true. We got Adam Carolla here. How are you, buddy?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? I don't even know where to begin to thank you, to be honest with you. Like Dan was talking about with the cruise earlier, there is so many things that we have taken from you that I feel like we owe you a percentage of our media company because you kind of created all of this. You were the first one to essentially have a podcast go online. I know you were out of pocket for all of it. Your story has been shared numerous times, but the way you've run your operation throughout the years and everything in media is something that we've been able to take as well. We've got your Mangria on the show today, which we're pouring over ice. We stole that from you as well. We've got a seltzer coming out this fall of like, all right, great, we're gonna sell our own liquor.
Oh, it's 20.9%.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah, we jacked it up. Yeah, because regular sangria, starts off at wine at 13%, and then they dump a bunch of fruit juice in it, and they probably knock it down to 8% or something. My thing is like, let's start and go up instead of down.
And again, stealing from you, we did the same thing with the seltzer. We went as high as the FDA would allow us at an 8. And that comes out in the fall, and it's the same thing where know your audience. We have the same male demographic. We want to get fucked up. I don't want some strip club sangria where it's just a bunch of water and then a lap dance, and then I'm leaving with a little bit of a hard-on. I want to get fucked up and punch a hole through a wall.
I completely agree, or sometimes kick a hole.
Yeah, kick is good too.
Punching holes in the bathroom wall.
Yeah, kicking's good. I'm a big fan of kicking.
Huge fan of kicking.
I've said that forever.
Yeah, you were against kicking and then rape very early on.
Yeah, I've always been anti-rape for before it was really popular.
Before it was trendy to say that you were.
Because now everything is kind of trendy, and that's something that you touch on in your work a lot. Everybody seems to be a fucking imbecile these days, right?
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Or we'll downgrade it to most people seem to be a fucking imbecile these days.
It's unfortunate how malleable people's character is. They think that jumping on these social trends somehow is a character trait at this point, and that doesn't seem to be the case, right? That's just you acting like an idiot.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I've kind of studied it because I have twins. I have boy-girl twins, and they're about 14, coming on to 15 pretty soon. And the girl is definitely very interested in what the trends are and on being on the perceived right side of history with those trends. The boy doesn't give two shits. So it's like I see how it affects two people that live in the same house and share most of the same DNA, how one who really cares, and it's really just about acceptance. We live in California. No one wants to be a pariah. So, when they tell you put on a mask before you go to the beach, you wear a mask while you're walking in the sand, because I don't think it's danger oriented. I just think it's an acceptance thing, and we've done a pretty good job in making people not want to be ostracized. I mean, the worst thing you can be in today's world, you're not going to the gallows, and you're not going to be you're not going to be flogged in the town square, but you will be ostracized. And that's about the worst thing that can happen. And so a lot of people sign up for that shit, even if they probably don't believe it.
Yeah, but you were a guy who went against it, right? It was you and Kimmel back in the day. Kimmel went the more traditional TV route, Hollywood route. You went the podcast route, and as strange as it seems to look back, because I'm sure you were ostracized for it of like, what is he doing? He's throwing his career away and all his opportunities and everything else. I feel like, and I don't know, obviously, him or you personally, but I feel like the happier of the two is probably you, because you get to do everything you want to do every single day. You get to say whatever you want every single day, and you get to be your own boss. Whereas I don't feel that Jimmy has that, and I'm sure at the time it was very unpopular. I know for me personally, doing movies and all that shit in Hollywood, there was a lot of my friends that were like, "Why did you just stop making movies?" And I was like, "Well, I could see the trend of it not making any more comedies anymore." And I'm curious as to when you guys decided to pivot, what that conversation was like.
Well, we didn't have a conversation about it. He worked in late night. He got a job on ABC. I helped him for the first couple of years get that show launched as a writer and as a friend. And then at a certain point, it kind of became obvious to me that I didn't really fall into any group. And I always knew it. I mean, I knew it in the early 90s, late 80s. Like, I knew I wasn't going to be in a sitcom, and I knew I wasn't going to navigate that system. It was the same way. I was a blue-collar guy, and I've worked with a lot of blue-collar guys. And blue-collar guys know that they're not going to fit in a corporate environment. It's just not going to work. They're not going to put a tie on. They're not going to be able to control their language. They're going to make off-color jokes. Like, they want some autonomy. They don't want to, go through all the seminars about sexual harassment and the 1619 Project. Like, blue-collar guys in general oftentimes are blue-collar guys because they want to just kind of do their own thing. They don't want to be school teachers. They don't want to necessarily be in a union. They don't want to work under, for some big tech company or something like that. So I always had kind of the blue-collar, go your own way mentality, and I just kind of brought it into show business. So I was always kind of that way. When I was a carpenter for the last 5-8 years, I just worked for myself. I didn't want to be part of a big outfit.
Yeah, I mean, you call it blue collar, and maybe that's accurate, but it's really just a reflection of the fundamental premise of this country, which is that self-determinism, individual liberty, is the most important thing that can exist in a society, right? It's the ultimate inoculation against tyrannical bullshit. People being individuals and then banded together collectively to say, you know what, we're going to do what the fuck we want. So get the fuck out of here, right? I mean, it's certainly not the case now. I would say, if not a plurality, a majority of Americans these days are just intellectually lazy or afraid, or maybe what you're talking about, just being afraid of being ostracized. So much so that it's become more convenient to allow liberty to recede, you know what I mean, out of our daily lives. And we look at that issue as overwhelming in a lot of ways. People are like, well, I'm only one person. What can I possibly do? And I think that really has become a cancer in this country. People that think they have no self-determinism anymore, because you see what happens in Europe throughout fascism, but also even here with the welfare state stuff we've created. People's self-determinism gets taken away. They don't feel equity in the community. They don't feel a sense of value in themselves and what they contribute. And it only goes in one direction. People stop trying, and then industries start failing, and the country fails. And we've seen all this shit before.
But with the country we're living in, and what he's talking about is this, creator economy. You created all of this for yourself, and then we were able to piggyback off of that. How did you know? Like, how did you personally know? That's the one question I've always wanted to ask. I've done over 2,000 episodes of podcasts now for 7+ years. How did you personally know that this was the way forward? Or did you not? And you were like, well, I'm going to try it, and if it fails, it fails.
Yeah, I never really knew anything, in my entire life. Like, my first goal out of high school was just to get a job. So that's all I knew. I needed to get a job, and then I got a bunch of jobs, and there were, carpet cleaning and ditch digging and, picking up garbage on a construction site. And I was like, all right, well, now you have a job, so you can check that box. Because, the first thing, my life was sort of like falling off the back of a cruise ship at night, or maybe a tuna boat. I don't think I would have been on a cruise ship. But my first feeling was I got to find land. You know what I mean? I'm not interested in buffets and I'm not interested in Ferraris. I'm in the middle of the ocean and I got to find some land. So the first part was just get to some dry land. That was just getting a job, you know, being able to pay rent with a couple of roommates in an apartment, being able to buy an old pickup truck. You know, that was just phase one. Once I got onto land and I got kind of dried off and I felt like I was safe, then my next move was how could I be living a little better life? How could I get a truck that had air conditioning? How could I own a home one day versus roommates and apartments? And so that next phase for me was like, well, maybe I could do comedy. Maybe I could get paid to do something in comedy. I didn't really think what. I just thought maybe some way to get paid. And I don't have to drive a pickup truck. Like, you know, I like cars. I like race cars. I wanted a sports car, but I had a Nissan pickup truck with a lumber rack on it and a bench seat. And I wasn't, you know, I didn't like going out on a date driving my Nissan pickup truck with the bench seat and the lumber rack and the bed box, you know. So I just thought, well, maybe there's some avenue with comedy. And then I started, after years, figuring out some avenue for comedy, and it kind of turned out to be radio. And then once I kind of got into radio, I was like, well, maybe there's more to explore here. Maybe there's a TV show, or maybe there's a movie, or maybe there's a documentary. Maybe there's a book. Maybe there's a podcast. I just said, let's move forward. I never really thought, you know, here's how I'm going to get paid, or here's what I know, or here's how it's going to work. It was always just kind of what's next.
Yeah, because for me personally, like, here's why you're so inspiring for me, right? As a young comedian coming up, moved to LA, did some movies and all that stuff, and the dream was always Saturday Night Live. So if you're a comedian and you don't get Saturday Night Live, your life is over, right? After that happened, and it was like, because they'll give you a no, and then that's it. You can't ever go back. They'll bring you back for a certain amount of years, and then after you hear the hard no, you're out and you're done. And I think that was in like 2008 or 2009 for me. And then I wanted to do more aggressive type comedy. I figured I could, all right, start a production company, make my own movies, and do that other stuff. And that was fine too, but you still had to do that within the constraints of a budget. And then when you sent out a script to agencies and all that stuff, if they weren't happy with some of the dialogue in there, they would be like, no, my client won't do this movie. And then I was like, all right, great. I would have to go back and rewrite some of the scripts to tailor for them. But I was like, is there an avenue that I could just say and do whatever I wanted without a budget, without an agent calling me, a manager, everything else? And it was this medium, but I didn't know that this medium existed. You obviously kind of created this medium, and now we're all in it. And then I remember shortly afterwards, like Key and Peele had come out as well, and I had saw Key at a New Orleans game, and I got to thank him. I was like, man, I felt so disappointed for years that I wasn't on SNL. I didn't get to do SNL, and even with you today, like the next phase of this, because comedy is essentially dead in Hollywood, was if you didn't invent this medium, I don't know what type of life I would have. Because I enjoy doing this every day. Dan and I do this 5 days a week. I host 3 other shows, so does he. And you created this, and you made us a ton of money in the process. And like, I just didn't know that this was even possible. Like, I mean, for real. My dad was a DJ on every single station you could imagine back in the day. But you don't really make that much money. You're kind of climbing markets and everything else. With podcasts, it is a whole different world where it is what you say, what you think. If people are super diehard fans of Dan and things like that, then they'll come and flock and do all the things. But there still has to be a guy to do it, like Christopher Columbus, to be like, all right, well, this exists.
Well, but now he's canceled.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not taking credit for inventing podcasting. What I did is I kind of did it independently and sort of figured out a way to monetize it, early on just based on a radio model. So, maybe if there's anything I contributed, it was saying you don't need to be under a big corporate umbrella like ESPN or something like that. You can independently do it, and then you can monetize it the same way you monetize television, radio, the infield of the NASCAR event. Like, just get a bunch of people in the stadium, in the venue, and then someone will pay you to put their name on something or to do a live read,
right,
or sponsored by. So for me, I didn't really invent podcasting, and I didn't really invent selling commercial time for an audience. I may have invented the peanut butter cup. Like, I didn't invent chocolate or peanut butter, but maybe I should get credit for the peanut butter cup.
Yeah, you weren't George
together.
Washington Carver is what you were saying. Like, you didn't invent the peanut.
Well, he hasn't been canceled.
No, he will never get Carver.
so.
Carver's a pimp, dude. He'll never get canceled. And that may be true, but we've all followed this model, and it has been unbelievably successful. And again, we can't thank you enough for it. And we're still using all of the tools, the cruises. We booked a cruise through your guy, actually. We did a Drinkin' Bros cruise. We were able to have fun with our listeners that way. The alcohol, again, we're drinking your Mangria on the show today. We have a seltzer coming out. Like, we're using all the same steps, and you've been doing this forever. And then also of what people owe you behind the scenes that they might not know, whereas there was a bunch of patent trolls that came after podcasts in general, that said, hey, we want this behind a paywall. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it was you and maybe Mark Maron who used your own money to fight these lawsuits to keep podcasts free?
Yeah, I think they were suing me only.
Just you? Yeah.
Somebody can research it, but I was the business that was being gone after by the patent trolls. But other podcasts sort of circled the wagons, realizing that even though I was being sued, if I lost, they'd be next, So the community got together, and we donated money, and we had a GoFundMe thing, and we ended up raising a bunch of money, and we ended up fighting them because they just wanted a payday, and they eventually dropped their lawsuit, and that probably cleared the way for other patent trolls not suing other podcasts.
What was the patent exactly that they were suing over?
I'm not a real big tech guy, but it had to do with sequencing. So I believe their claim wasn't, we didn't invent podcasting and you're not using any of our technology, but we own some sort of patent on sequencing. So if you come out with one show on Monday and then the next show comes out on Tuesday, that's ours.
That's the most retarded shit I've ever heard in my life.
It is.
Yeah.
It sounds insane.
Jesus Christ! What
But you can file a patent for anybody. I remember watching Shark Tank, and Mark Cuban lost his mind because a guy owned a patent for holes inside of jackets where you would put headphones through. If you were jogging or something like that, if there was a hole inside your jacket to put a headphone cord through, he invented that. And so, like, Nike had to pay him, Adidas had to pay this guy, everything else, and it was just like, for a fucking hole inside a goddamn jacket? Like, that's what we're suing over?
Yeah, it's insane. That, in a weird way, that makes more sense than what the patent trolls were suing me over. But that's the way it worked, and it costs a lot of money to fight them. But eventually they dropped it because they didn't like the bad publicity they were getting, because they were suing someone with a microphone versus suing some corporation. And they didn't like the sun being shined on them, because obviously
they operate in the shadows. That's all how they make all their money. Like, they sue people they can't mount a significant defense to it just because they know they'll pay them off to make it go away. They're trolls.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, that's why they're called patent trolls. They're cunts. We've dealt with these assholes before. It's some fucking dum-dum and their uncle. I mean, it goes from both sides. Sometimes it's corporate, but sometimes it's some dum-dum
And their uncle's like a DUI attorney.
Yeah, their uncle is like
and-
some fucking ambulance chaser, and he'll just file motion after motion to try to bleed you until you give him $15,000. And to be honest, they made a critical mistake though. I don't give a fuck. I'll show up to their house and shit on their fucking front porch. You know what I mean? I have nothing to do all day today. Right?
Well, you know, what the best position to be in is everyone goes, you want fuck you money. Everyone goes, you want F you money. You don't, I'll tell you what's better than F you money. F me money. When you go, I don't give a fuck if I lose a bunch of money fighting this patent troll. Like, if the patent troll wants 500 grand and I spend 750 fighting it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
That's fuck me money.
Yeah,
That's financially where you want to be, fellas.
Whenever I get to a point where money is no longer an issue, I mean, I do it now, to be honest. I've figured out after doing my taxes, I give away about 12% to charity, and I spend another 5% of my annual income just to fucking with people for no reason. Like this, and most of it, no one even knows about. It's just me doing weird shit for my own enjoyment.
Yes. By the way, this is true.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
You'll send Amazon packages to people's houses.
Yeah.
He'll leave earrings in friends' cars.
Yeah.
So their wives or girlfriends will find
Yeah.
it and just to ask what it is.
Yeah.
And he's never around for the joke.
No, I don't ever.
So he
see
never
the
gets to
results of any
see
of it, no.
the results of any of
But
this.
it's like, you know, it's to me that is that's karma. I'm just putting good energy out into the universe. You know what I mean? People take themselves entirely too seriously, and they need to be brought down a peg or two from time to time. That's all it is.
Occasionally. Let me ask you this. You've been in the business so long. Are you excited every day when you wake up in the morning? I mean, even after 6 or 7 years of this, I am. I love doing it every single day. Are you still there?
I don't really wake up excited, you know, good or bad, like for anything. I just sort of wake up and go to work. Like my feeling is, you know, once again, very blue collar. You have to have a job. You have to go somewhere. It never made sense to me that, you know, in show business that, you know, you could shoot a movie for 3 months in Canada and then come back to LA and hang out for a couple of months. You know, whenever I pass a restaurant on a Tuesday and there's people like eating breakfast out on the patio at 11 in the morning, I always think, what the fuck are these people doing? Like, it's Tuesday. You got to go to work. And, you know, I think people sort of, you know, it's interesting. There's a kind of a snobbery in show business and comedy where you understand that people work all day, every day. When you go into the Home Depot on a Tuesday, it's filled with 75 employees. You know, if you go to the post office, you go to the DMV, you see the UPS trucks, Amazon trucks, like flying airline. Those are people working during the week. And there's some sort of thing in show business, which is, well, I'm a comedian. I'm not supposed to work during the day. I'm supposed to go out and do a 20-minute set that night and then sleep till noon and rip a bong load and then go out to brunch with Doug Benson, you know? And my feeling is like, no, you're supposed to work during the day. That's always just been my mentality. And I used to work real jobs that involved either getting under apartment buildings or getting on roofs of apartment buildings and like stripping the shingles or the asphalt or whatever. So for me, coming in, talking to guys like you, doing my podcast, working on a documentary or writing a book or whatever it is, it doesn't really feel like work from how I defined work many years ago. Many years ago, my definition of work was how much are you getting paid by the hour and how many boxes do you have to move
Right.
in order to get paid. And this feels like me hanging out. And that's what I did after work. So after work, we would have gone somewhere, had a few beers and had this conversation.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like work to me.
And that's how I feel too. Like I'm one of those people where if I'm on a vacation, like day 2, I'm like, all right, I've had my fun. I feel guilty for not working. If I'm not doing this, I'm writing something. There's very few days in my life that I can look back on and be like, oh, I wasn't working on something that day. My wife gets on me all the time. I understand that mentality. It's the same thing where, like, yes, you love what you do, and it doesn't really feel like work. But then when you say that, it sounds like a fucking Pinterest quote, and you're just like, well, maybe I shouldn't say that, but it is kind of true. And then, you're yelling at a producer for not having ice, and so are we. And, same shit where you're just like, still take it seriously enough where I care about whatever the fuck that was that happened. For us here in Austin, a homeless guy got in our studio last night. So,
Really?
yeah. Somebody left the back door open, which was a fun thing.
Is Austin have a lot of homeless now?
Well,
I don't know if there's a lot, but they're all just like hanging out downtown all the time.
it is 2012 in LA, if that makes sense to you.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Where you can tell it'll be a problem if they didn't get rid of it. They just passed a bill here that they had to get rid of camping outdoors, aka homeless people. So
Right.
they're slowly like getting them out of here. But if they didn't do that, because I lived in LA for 18 years, I got to see that city change horrifically, which will lead me to my next question. But if they didn't pass this bill, it would be like LA is in 5 years. Whereas the big thing that I don't understand with you is why you're still there.
Well, that's a fine question. My kids, I told you, are going into the 10th grade or something. It's hard to tell because schools have been closed for over a year.
Yeah.
But I figure they should get through high school in their community school, and then once they're out of high school, I no longer have an obligation to hang out with them in LA, and they'll probably move too. I mean, my daughter will probably go off somewhere to college, and my son will go to Colorado and get a sheepdog and live off the land or something. So the short answer is I'm just waiting till the kids get out of school, essentially.
Got it.
Do you
Well,
have
look,
your eyes on anywhere in
yeah, I
particular?
was just going to say that, yeah.
Well, everywhere seems appealing because I travel all over the country and do stand-up. And when you live in L.A., you travel around and all of a sudden you have these thoughts that you never had before where you're like, hey, Appleton, Wisconsin, not too shabby. They have garbage cans and they don't really have homeless people. And every place looks kind of tempting. Nashville's great.
Yep.
Parts of Florida are great. Parts of Texas are great. Arizona. I mean, just anywhere but L.A. and New York, essentially.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about
places like
parts
that,
of parts of different states. Like shit, Texas, Austin is great. It is beautiful. It is an amazing city. I love it. I love living here. We all just moved here about a year ago, and it's fantastic. However, you go down to San Antonio, and that city's a goddamn shithole to me. And if I hear, the river walk, you've got to do the river walk. That's awful. The river walk is awful.
Well, all right, hold on. I've done. It's not as bad as the L.A. River Walk, if anyone were to compare it to that. I can't even believe we call this gutter that takes shit and homeless people to the bay a river, the L.A. River. Like, all you need to know about L.A. is here's our river. There's a box spring in it and a homeless guy defecating on it. Like, that's our river. Yeah, I played San Antonio. I've done the river walk. It's fine. But I would probably not choose San Antonio. I would probably choose somewhere else in Texas. And that's the whole point. It's kind of, I guess Texas is like Florida in a lot of ways. Like there's some good pockets in there, and there's some pockets you wouldn't want to live in, and you'd have to pick your pocket.
Yeah, you got to pick your pocket. Worst city you've ever done besides Fresno?
Oh, well, did we mention Fresno?
Yeah. Fresno, there's actually, I used to live in Oakland back in the day.
I'm trying to think. I have found that most of the places I've gone to in the Midwest, I've found to be like really quaint and kind of nice and kind of clean. been to places. I'm trying to think. Maybe Sacramento wasn't awesome.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can kind of remember walking back from the club at midnight, looking over my shoulder a few times. Mostly stuff that's out here on the West Coast. I'd say, yeah, Fresno, Sacramento, places like that.
I love that you brought up Sacramento. I just watched this doc on Showtime about the Reagans. It's super slanted. It's a piece of shit. But there was one takeaway that I got from it when they won the governor job or whatever. And I'm saying they because Nancy was just as important as Ronald in that whole sitch. She goes, "Bad, we're in Sacramento. I don't want to live in this shithole." There was a governor's mansion there, and she made them buy another house like on another street, so they didn't have to live in downtown Sacramento in this shithole. And I was like, hasn't changed, Nance. If you were still alive, I'd tell you it hasn't changed.
Yeah, I played a college in Mansfield, Pennsylvania, I think.
By the prison?
Probably.
Yeah.
If there wasn't one there then, there probably is one now.
Or there should be.
But that was a rough outing, as I recall. But in general, go to these towns. Great theaters, great clubs, great people, nice, places I never thought I'd go to, like Oklahoma City, and like I said, places in Wisconsin and that kind of stuff. And I mainly love all these towns just because they kind of remind me of Los Angeles in the 60s or the 50s, like just kind of homespun, not garbage and graffiti everywhere. You can kind of tell the town by what the freeway on-ramp looks like. So the freeway on-ramp in L.A. is full of shopping carts and homeless people and garbage and diapers. And then you pass the freeway sign and it has barbed wire around it. And you think, that's looks like a hellscape there. And then you go to some of these other towns and other cities, and it looks like a groomed golf course getting onto the freeway. And you go, they probably do a better job in this town.
Yeah, so you're getting back into the to doing stand-up now. Are you doing live events or what? How's that going?
I never stopped during the pandemic.
Really?
I'm just like, no.
Is there any way that we can put air quotes around pandemic forever?
Yeah.
Is there, like a certain inflection in your voice that implies that? Can we do that?
How did you avoid it during the pandemic of not having to sit on the sidelines?
Maybe we'll say it this way. Maybe I'll go, I did stand-up all through the pandemic? And we'll just put a question mark at the end of it. I would say what cities, what states are open, what's the capacity, how does it work? And they would go, well, Florida's open for, half capacity or 2/3 capacity, and Nashville's open for half capacity, and El Paso's open for half capacity or whatever. And I'd go, fine, let's go there.
That's hilarious.
Have you noticed, I can't remember who it was. There's a comedian back in the day, like in the mid-2000s, that used to tell this joke about magicians and how much he hated them. But he also sympathized with magicians because it's the one live show you go to where everybody in the audience is trying to fuck up your game. Like they're trying to figure out that you're full of shit, right?
Yeah.
And, obviously comedy, for the most part, you would assume people that go to a comedy show are going there to be entertained, right? And they expect comedy. Now, I've seen, we do a lot of live events here. We don't really get fucked with, but some of our producers do stand-up comedy in the area, and I go watch them, and I very frequently see, particularly white women between 28 and 45 or so, who seem to have shown up just to get mad about something. Have you seen that at your live shows, or do those people not even bother showing up to your show?
I don't feel like they bother. I don't get any of that. I rarely get heckled. I almost never get heckled. I'm good on my feet, so it seems like a bad plan to heckle me because I got a microphone and I'm ready to go. So maybe there's some sort of understanding. But No, I've not found that. I've basically found that, you know, and it's kind of what I wish we were a little more like as a society, which is, I'm coming to your town. I'm going to do stand-up. You know, I'm going to Golden, Colorado, I don't know, June 18th, 19th or something to play the Buffalo Rose. The people that like me will come out to the show, and the people that don't like me won't buy a ticket, the same way as you wouldn't buy a ticket for a band you don't like and would buy a ticket for a band you do like. And then I say whatever I want, and then I get paid, and, you know, everyone goes home. It's fine. We don't need to correct me or them. There doesn't need to be a right and a wrong. It's a band. I feel the same way with college campuses. You know, if Pearl Jam's coming out, then go buy a ticket. And if Air Supply's coming out, then maybe stay in your dorm room. But you don't have to stop Air Supply from playing.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. Just don't fucking go if you don't want to go.
Yeah, it's the saying has always been, my right to swing my fist ends at your face. And that makes a lot of sense. Like, we like the idea of individual liberty, but not insofar as it impacts or injures someone else. But now, in the days of catastrophizing and emotional reasoning, people have generally, particularly young people, have generally started to believe that their feelings are somehow important to other people, and that's just not the case.
And everybody's getting canceled. They'll show up to these shows like you're saying, where it's just like, dude, just to cause a fight. I have a different theory with you, though, only because we have the same person who booked our cruise, and they would always compare us to you of like, well, why didn't you? How many seats can you think you could sell on this? And we're like, I don't know, 1,000. They'd be like, well, Adam Carolla could sell 5,000. Your fan base is so intense, I don't think anybody comes out to heckle you. And I think that's amazing. Whereas everybody else, like Dan was saying, I think they genuinely do nowadays, just because they were stuck inside for a year and a half, and now they're coming out and they're like, fuck you. It's time for me to get drunk and say whatever I want to do tonight. But your fan base is totally different. Like, they are locked in, and everybody says, look, Drinkin' Bros are losers compared to Carolla's fans.
I was drunk when I tweeted that. You know, look, I give people the same answer all the time. Like, we would say, you know, back in the day when I was like sharing an office with Jimmy, and we'd be working on the Man Show, and some comedian's name would come up, and he'd go, that guy's such a dick. Why do you even like him? You know, and I'd go, he's nice to me. And they'd go, yeah, but he's a dick, you know. And I'd go, I'm not saying he's not a dick. I'm really just going off of how we interact, you know?
Yeah.
So my thing in life is, like, whether it's a neighbor or a crowd, all I know is my interactions. You know, all I really know is my experience. And my experience is people come out to the show, people are friendly. I do a show, I take pictures with them afterward. I go back to the hotel, beat off. Go back to the hotel, take a shower, and hop on a plane the next day. I'm not, you know, it's kind of a thing where people go, oh, don't you know this is going on? And I only know what I experience is going on. And what I experience is nice people coming to the show, having a good time.
Got it. So who are the guys then? Who is your young up-and-coming guys that you really like? That you say, all right, great. Comedy-wise, here's the future. Here's who I've got my eye on.
Oh, I think there's a lot of funny up-and-coming guys. Unfortunately, I don't know any of their names because I've never really been in the comedy scene. You know, like, I never hung out with stand-ups. I'm not part of that clique. I don't know the names of people. You know, it's I'm not aloof. I'm just, my interests are basically cars, racing cars, vintage cars, architecture, building, like engineering, and I'm not really into the scene, you know, so I really don't know who the names are, and I never really was. I was just sort of get up, go do your radio job, go home, monkey around with cars.
Do you want to
study it?
Do you want to get together on a heist and we'll just steal all of Jay Leno's cars? What the fuck's he gonna do about it?
Yeah, he's not gonna do anything.
Nah, he's old as shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I got. There's a problem with that, and I'll tell you what it is. Jay's shit is every one of his warehouses, and he's got a bunch, and he's daisy chained them, and he's got well over 100,000 square feet in those warehouses.
Holy shit.
And I go there all the time. It's not far from where I am.
Yeah.
He always gets his warehouses right on the edge of the airport. So his stuff is, if you pull into Jay Leno's parking lot and look straight ahead, you'll see a fence. On the other side of the fence is a Southwest airplane getting ready to taxi. He always says, he's like, hey, get it next to the airport, and then the security's taken care of. Because the airport takes care of it.
That's actually a really good idea.
They patrol the areas. You know?
I wonder I wonder what the value of all of his
I
vehicles
don't do it
combined
Jay
is.
Leno, but I do Jay Leno gibberish. That's all
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do. Like,
Well,
Duesenberg.
Well, that's like Rich Little. Everybody knows Howard Cosell from Rich Little.
Yeah.
Like it's not actually Howard Cosell's voice. It's Rich Little's
You know
impression.
Rich Little doing it.
But yeah, how much do you think all those? He's got hundreds and hundreds of cars, and they're not like he doesn't have a bunch of fucking Honda Accords in there.
Yeah, well, all right.
I wonder how much that
He's
shit's
got
worth.
some cameras. You're right.
Him versus Seinfeld. Who's got the? Because I'm sure you're friends with both. Who's got the more impressive car collection?
Well, what you guys should understand in the car value world is you could say, well, Jay Leno has 5 Duesenbergs, right?
Jesus Christ.
And you could go, that Duesenberg's worth $1.3 million, and that Duesenberg's worth 1.7, and that Duesenberg is worth 2.2. And if you added all the Duesenbergs up, the 5 Duesenbergs, it would be worth $8 million. And then you go to Jerry Seinfeld's collection, and you go, that's a 1969 Porsche 917 that ran in Le Mans in the Gulf GT livery in 1970. That car is worth $42 million.
Holy shit.
So don't start counting cars.
Yeah, for sure.
Seinfeld has some shit that one unit is $35 million. So again, you could have 20 Duesenbergs, but it's still just one 917 Porsche. Now, don't quote me. I don't know exactly what the market value of the Duesenberg is, but keep in mind, Leno has tons of cars and really cool stuff. And by the way, a lot of bikes. And again, you'd go, oh, that's an old Stanley Steamer, and that's an old Model A, and that's that's a Mustang GT 1965 Shelby, whatever. But you get the right Ferrari with the racing pedigree, it's $80 million. Just one car.
I wonder who owns that Ford from the latest Christian Bale movie.
Ford versus Ferrari, the one that Matt Damon died in?
Somebody owns it, right?
Oh, yeah,
You
I'm
would
sure.
think somebody owns that car.
I'm sure.
Yeah. No, those GT40s, most of that stuff is at the Shelby Museum that's like outside of Denver.
Oh, really? Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, but with Seinfeld, though, here's where I have him higher. The rent on those garage in New York, because his garages are still in...
It's $500 to $800 a month for a parking space in fucking New York.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot more expensive for Seinfeld to park his cars than
I don't think
Leno.
Seinfeld gives a fuck about how much it costs to put the cars there.
I
Well, he
wonder.
probably owns the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think so.
It's probably true. The standard joke in LA was how many people would come up to you and say, "Guy, you know what I picked up on the side of the road with a broken down car the other day? Jay Leno. You wouldn't fucking believe
Right.
it, on Laurel Canyon." I feel like all those cars are always breaking down on him for some reason.
What do you mean for some reason they're
Well,
old as shit?
he has cars that are powered by steam that he drives around, and yeah, sometimes they're not as reliable he literally will drive his steam car like over the Sepulveda Pass and stuff like that. He drives everything all the time, and some of that stuff is over 100 years old. I joke with Jay that if some kid writes a book report on you in 25 years from now, and they're writing the book report. Remember when you were a kid, you do one on Hank Aaron or Mickey Mantle or President Kennedy or something like that. They're going to write a book report on you, and at the end, it's going to be 2055, and they're going to go, died in a steam car accident. And the teacher's going to go, what are you talking about? People who drive hovercrafts now. It's like, he didn't die in 2055 in a steam car, Johnny. Now go research this.
It's totally true, and like, goddamn,
I like that though.
And with comedians and cars getting coffees, the reason why I watched it was Seinfeld was going to break down every other episode, and then he would yell at his producers to come and pick up the fucking cars somewhere.
Well, we've got a buddy, TJ Lavin. He's a former X Games guy. He's the host of MTV's The Challenge. I don't know if you're familiar with TJ, but he's the same way. But he doesn't care about the car itself. He just thinks it's cool to drive old shitty trucks. So he drives around Las Vegas all the time. And twice he's been, like one time we were supposed to meet up. We were going to UFC's Performance Institute to meet with Forrest Griffin and Dana White. Yep. And he broke down on the way. And I'm like, dude, can you please buy a car?
He's rich as shit.
Yeah, he's rich as shit. Like, you've been on the challenge for 25 fucking seasons now. Buy a goddamn car that works. I don't have time to come fucking pick you up in the middle of the road anymore. Now, speaking of TV, Crank Yankers is back up. This has been a favorite for a lot of people for a long time. It went off the air for a long time, but now it's back. How's that going?
It's going well. It was on the air for a while, and then it was off the air for a long time. And then Comedy Central put some sort of poll out to its viewers that said, what show that we used to do you miss the most? And they probably said Chappelle, and Chappelle told them to fuck off, and then they went, okay, then the Crank Yankers instead. And they picked Crank Yankers. Crank Yankers was like the fan favorite that hadn't been on in 10 years. And Comedy Central was smart, and they were like, well, if that's what everyone misses, then why not do another season?
Yeah, and it's one that has, I mean, particularly for last year for production where all the studios are shut down, this is one that you don't need a whole lot of personnel to do. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like that's all Hollywood is moving into is non-live humans, where it's just animation or puppets or whatever. And and they're going back to the tried and true model of what worked. Yeah. Crank Yankers was huge.
Well, it had a lot of the last two seasons through 2019 through present. You had a lot of the original, like you, Jimmy, a lot of the original cast. Sarah was there, but also new people like Abby Jacobson is getting involved. Wanda Sykes is back as well. Aubrey Plaza did it. Tracy Morgan did it for the first time. A lot of the new comedians. This is really good. I've watched a couple of the episodes. A big fan of it. I wonder, you guys are, how many episodes are coming out this season in season 6? Because I think I've watched 3 so far.
I don't. I think we did 20 last time.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm not sure what the exact number is this time. It's probably 20 again or somewhere in there. Somebody can Google it. But
I love how you're so rich. You know nothing about anything that's going on in the world. No comedians, your own show, nothing.
He didn't even know how old his kids were. He was like guessing how old his kids were. Like, they're around 14, 15. Who cares? Shut up.
Well, they're twins. I know they're the same age.
I want that wealth where I just don't care. Man, that TV show, no idea. No idea about what's going on. I love that. The Mangria, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a third of the way through the bottle here. I am getting rocked. What made you make the Mangria?
I was sitting around in my house a million years ago, and I was end of the night, end of the week, Friday night, I was pouring myself some red wine. And as I turned the bottle over, I noticed there was just like half a glass of red wine, and that's all I had. And I was like, ugh, this is not going to get me buzzed or through the night or anything. So I thought, I got this half a glass of red wine. Like, how could we juice this up a little bit? So I went and dumped a little vodka into the red wine. and it tasted like ass.
Terrible.
And vodka and red wine. No wonder no one ever orders this at a bar, right? And then I thought, well, I don't want to just dump this out, but it tastes like shit. So I thought, what if I put a little splash of orange juice in it? So I put a little splash of orange juice in it, and I put an ice cube in there, and I kind of mix it up, and I took a hit off it. And I was like, oh, this tastes good, and it's got some pop.
Yeah.
So I thought, Excelsior, I said.
That's
I
an
think
old
I invented
reference.
something called Mangria. And that was about it. I was just kind of off and running with it after that.
Yeah, because
It's really good.
Yeah,
I mean,
not only is it good, but
it's
no lie.
20.9% to 21% alcohol, and
You
it
can
tastes
see it. I'm a third of the way through the bottle. I've got 2 more shows today. Good luck with that, Ross. But
big fan.
I'm getting fucked up. Huge fan of this. Is this available everywhere right now? I know through COVID you're allowed to ship wine through the mail in all 50 states. Is that what you guys are doing? Or are you in every store?
If we're in some stores, but you should just go to CorollaDrinks.com, I think, and you can
give him all the money.
We have rye whiskey there. We have other offerings, but if you go to CorollaDrinks.com, you can get some. And yeah, and it's fun in that if you show up to a barbecue, especially with the summer coming along, you show up to a barbecue and you're bringing a bottle of white wine or a bottle of champagne or something like that. Like, it's nice, but it's been there, done that. Show up with a bottle of Mangria, dump a little of that over ice, and another cool tip is put a little splash of 7-Up or Sprite in it, like for the ladies, make a little spritzer out of it. It's killer, and everyone has the same reaction, which is, oh, this tastes good, and then 15 minutes later, they're like, I'm fucking buzzed.
Well, that's where you want to be, right?
That's where you want to be.
Like, I don't like... I drink a lot of seltzers because they're everywhere. I don't like beer that much. I think beer is for poor people. That's what I've always thought. Same thing with bread. I don't eat bread. It's not a fucking health thing. I'm a big fan of Roman culture, and I just remember them. They were throwing bread into the fucking crowds at the Coliseum. They weren't throwing fruit and meat.
No.
So fuck bread. I'm not eating. It's that's all it's about. And for me, beer is also like that. It's made out of bread, basically.
Yeah.
So I like seltzers, low calorie. I can get fucked up, but not at 5%.
No.
That's why we made the 8% one. And this is basically like a fortified wine.
I mean,
it's
this is fucking,
good.
what, 20%?
Yeah, it's 21.
What is this?
21.
Is it really? Jesus
Well,
Christ.
it's 20.9. I think the rule is you have to stop at 21. So we thought, well, let's see if we can get right up against the rev limiter without blowing the engine up.
I'm gonna keep on going through the rest of the day here into the next show. But now's the point in the show for us. We get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week, which is someone who has inspired you or helped you become the person you are today. Who would you like to give the Drinkin' Bro of the Week to?
Well, I got to go with the aforementioned Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, I met him. I was a boxing coach. I was nobody. He welcomed me in. He immediately thought I was funny, and he just helped me in every way, shape, or form to get to where I am today. So we got to go with Mr. Kimmel.
Awesome. And I rarely do this where we give our own here, but since you're on the show, I would really love to give this to you because without everything you did for this industry in this medium, I don't know that we would have the great lives that we have today. And there's always got to be somebody first to kind of show you the way. And look, I feel like we've been stealing from. I feel like you're Jordan. It's a Jordan Kobe sitch where I've been stealing all your shit for years and years and years, and just kind of following this media business path, Dan and I, and it has been very, very successful, and we are unbelievably grateful for you and everything you've done for this industry. And dude, to have you on the show today is an absolute dream.
Well, I know that's just a Mangria talking, but I'll take it anyway.
It probably is.
It's a good advertisement for the company, though.
Yeah, Mangria, 20.9%. You'll tell all the men in your life that you love them. So, hey, we love you, Adam. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks for having me, and enjoy.
Absolutely.
We'll
Thanks,
do it
man.
again.
Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
very much. Take care. Usually, this is where I say we've got some sponsors who put this whole shit wagon on the air. First and foremost is ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros. Instead, we've actually got them in the room today. What's up, Rich?
What's up, guys?
How are you, man?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good.
It's a weird moment for me, by the way. I've never seen you in real life. I've only talked to you for years and years and years, and I don't go on Facebook enough to stalk people to know what you actually look like.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. You always seem friendly enough on the phone where it was just like, I trust that guy. I don't need to go through his social media. I don't need to fucking bother. Like, he doesn't seem like a pedophile. But now your buddy does. And what does he do for the company?
Yeah, Jacob runs our engineering department.
What kind of intro
I'm the
is
marketing. He's the engineering.
Jacob.
that? Here, what's your pedophile buddy do?
I'm just asking, Jacob. You've got a real sly look about you, and I don't know what it is. You've seen some shit. You've done some shit.
I don't like to get into it, but
How long you guys here in Austin, Texas?
Till Sunday.
Till Sunday. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ.
it's going to be
Boy.
a long few days.
Yeah, that's enough to get into trouble. You guys got any friends here?
We do. We have a couple of friends that live out here, and then some friends are inviting that are coming out here. But the mostly came to see you guys. So
Well, let's be real.
Yeah,
Really?
before you
See
started
you.
talking, I was going to say I made a few friends, but screw that.
No. That's all done now, right? That's all done now. You came to see us for a night. And you're like, all right, great. We'll come see some shows, see Adam Carolla, and then we'll get the fuck out of here and do what we want to do in Austin. Where do you live in real life?
Appleton, Wisconsin, actually.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where Homeboy was at?
Yeah, last week.
That's hilarious. Rich, what about you?
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
area.
Okay. So, look, you're not going to be used to what you're seeing this weekend. That's all I'm going to say. It is shocking. It is graphic, and it is in your face every single time. Where you're like, holy shit.
I'm for it.
Yeah. As well you should be. But if you roll down the 6th Street, you will see 100,000 people without mask on, living their best life, raging their faces off. And it's gonna be crazy. Because I was like, hey, let's go to dinner tonight. And you're like, I don't understand why Friday night. Booked. Everything is booked. Everybody wants to rage. The weather's beautiful. There's no mask in Texas. Governor Wheelchairs said, hey, we're all done with COVID. And everybody who comes here is always just like, hey, Drinkin Bros, it was cool meeting you. We're out of here. Remember those women who came down last time, the advertisers? They were like, fuck off. So, yeah. Where are you guys heading tonight?
I don't know. You tell us.
I think we're going to go out with you guys.
Yeah, we'll probably go
Yeah.
to Loro.
Yeah, we're going to go Loro for dinner, but then obviously, like, you guys are going to gallivant
Yeah,
around
we'll
the
see
city.
where the night takes us.
Yeah. And then we'll see where you guys end up.
Exactly.
Ghostbed-wise, we're happy to announce we're going to be with Ghostbed for another 2 years in Tetherball Academy Media. We're super stoked about that. There it is. Yeah. It's a nice round of applause right there, and I love to hear it. I love to hear
A
it.
lot of people don't know that this is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah. Dan's been alive for years at this point, years. Or almost dead. Dan.
Look, the difference between being alive and dead is so microscopic to me.
Goddamn right it is. Rich, what do you got new and exciting here? We got the
Yeah.
pillows. What do we got? I'm going to come around the back.
All
Boom.
right, buddy.
Boom.
All
Over
right.
the head.
This is our ghost pillow, and these are the shredded ones. So these ones here are made of the ice fabric that you get with all our pillows. We have 3 different variety of pillows here. And this one, which comes included with the mattress here, you can take out the shredded if you want. You can put them back, put more in, more out. These are awesome. You can take this cover off, and you can wash the cover too, if like your dog pees on or whatnot. So, which happened to me.
Did it really? Your dog
it did.
pissed all over your pillow?
It did, but we
My
washed it. We
my
washed it.
oldest Boston Terrier, when he was a puppy, he would sleep on the pillow next to my head sometimes. And one day I woke up, and my ear was wet, and he had pissed all in my ear.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah. Like, he didn't even wake up either.
No.
It was very casual. He was just a puppy lying on his side. He's about that big at the time. About the size of that can, maybe a little fatter than
Yeah.
that. Just pissed in my ear and went back to sleep like it was not a big deal.
My God, man.
Yeah.
That's what they told me in Georgia. I was a kid, 3rd grade, I had an earache, and they were like, put some warm urine in it.
Yeah, the dog smelled that Dan had an ear infection. So.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
No,
The dog
it
was just an asshole.
Yeah, it's just a dick. Dog was just a fucking asshole. So you got this.
We got
and then
this.
you got the
This is
new
amazing. This is
3D.
amazing. 3D Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see that gel.
Hold on, but about these pillows real quick. Can you
Yeah.
buy more stuffing to overstuff that? Because you said it's filled with the shredded, right?
Yeah, you can if you call our customer service, we can get you some more for sure.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Because I love a big overstuffed pillow.
You can overstuff.
Goddamn right you do.
You
know
get
why-
2 pillows free with your mattress. You can always take the other one. You know, some people like it smaller, some people like it a little bit like higher.
Yeah.
Just put more in there. You're good to go.
I love that.
These
know-
pillows are amazing, by the way. They really are.
You know why Giorgio loves him.
I don't.
Come on, look at that guy. What's it called?
Do we want to know?
What's the pad called?
The cooling pad?
No, for women. It's that. It's got a little bit of ramp to it. You know, it's the
wedge,
ramp.
the Liberator?
wedge.
There it
wedge.
is.
No, it's called a
the
Liberator.
There it is.
God, you guys are fucking stupid.
God, Dan had you on this. This is the first time you've ever been beat to a sexual.
Google
Toy.
Google the wedge. It's the off-brand version of the Liberator.
It's cheaper.
I'm not rich like Dan. So
No,
I'm not-
I understand it.
Yeah, I don't like that poor bullshit.
I understand it. Is the let's see. Boom.
Ooh.
Here's the 3D Luxe right here. Everybody's asking what's in these. I don't have it, Rich. You fuck. But here it is
You can
right
order
here.
one. You can order one.
I used my own promo code. I just ordered a base.
You mean the
actually.
Matrix?
The
Yeah, 3D
Matrix,
Matrix.
yeah. 3D Matrix right here. Boom. A little flex foam gel in it.
So it's patented gel, by the way. It's
Is it
patented.
really?
It is, yeah.
How do you
Yeah,
go
and
about
the-
that? We're
so-
going through patents right now. It's a fucking bitch, by the way.
So this gel is actually used in operating tables. So it has a great motion to it, keeps your body still, and it does a really good job. And it stretches in all directions, which is why it's the 3D Matrix. So stretch it, Ross.
Oh, yeah. I'll stretch it. Oh,
All right.
look at that.
And then so
look
like
at that.
So the one side, so if you go like this in your hand,
Yeah.
right? So the one side has the 3D gel matrix, and then around it is where the heat kind of dissipates out from.
Mm-hmm.
So it keeps you nice and cool on the inside is what it does. So
And that gel keeps you really stable,
you really
right?
stable.
That's what they do in
Yeah.
the hospital beds during the
exactly.
surgery.
I love
and
it.
in wheelchairs too. Same thing. Wheelchairs.
Wheelchair. Obviously, that's for our audience. Yeah, we love wheelchairs. Did you design this?
No, I did not. I wish I did. So that's the cool thing about the company, though, is that Mark Werner, the owner, he was his grandfather started Werner Ladder, which you had a couple over here.
Yeah.
So they came from a design background. So this isn't just a mattress that we remarketed from overseas. This is something we build here. We designed it. We patented it, and the main thing with that is the cooling.
Yeah.
So it's not going to get you super cold or super hot. It's going to regulate your body temperature. So it's a great mattress.
It's amazing. He did the ladder, son. God damn it, they're rich. How many? Everybody's got that fucking ladder.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
70% of ladders in houses are.
What about you,
were-
Jacob? Jacob, do you
I had
have it?
multiple before I started working at Ghostbed.
What do you call it?
Call what?
Jacob's ladder.
You got me. I was trying to figure out where you're going.
Come on.
I didn't think it would be something.
Long way around, but sometimes it's the most enjoyable.
You didn't think
It's
it
my
would be that
grandfather.
fucking stupid.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
You can say it. It's
You
fine.
can say it. It's a long way around. Sometimes the best way around. That's what my grandfather said.
Well, you've been sipping on that Mangri. I didn't know what I was going to get.
Boy, big day. I didn't know we were going to have Adam Carolla on today. At 20.9%. Jesus Christ. My God, man. This is amazing.
You're going to need that
I
pillow
need some.
later.
I need some.
Yeah, take a swig out of the bottle.
All right, all right.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Rich.
Rich. Pour,
Just
pour,
give her
pour,
Rich.
pour,
Give it.
pour.
Just finish it off.
Chug
No,
the whole
that's
thing
like
and then
something.
smash the bottle over his head.
Very Austin. Keep Austin weird.
I'm not lugging you around the rest of the night.
No, right? God damn it.
Early in the evening too.
It's very early.
I think you can get a wheelchair though.
Yeah, you can. You
Motorized?
Yeah, my friends at Independence Fund, they make these off-road motorized wheelchairs for disabled veterans. So I'm sure we can get one of those. About $15,000. Shit.
can. Yeah, but it's.
It's made for people without legs though, so you might feel like an asshole riding it around for
I don't
fun.
think so, man. Most people who are in those riding things at Walmart don't feel like an asshole. They're just fat people.
No, those aren't. Those aren't disabled veterans. Those are fucking people with diabetes.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
It's not the same thing.
But they have zero shame in taking up a cart of
Yeah,
being
if they
like,
had
well, fuck
shame
it.
in the first place, they wouldn't have shoveled fucking sugar and butter into their mouths for the last 30 years. All right?
He's got a point. As long as it's motorized, I'll take it.
Exactly. What else are you guys working on over there?
So we have a natural mattress too. So it's eco-friendly, natural. It's got 7 layers like our other mattresses out there, and it's got cooling properties in it. But you can get it. It's ghostbednatural.com. It's a brand new website, so
Okay.
check it out. And they'll have a /Drinkin Bros code
Gluten
on
free
there.
too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gluten free.
Yeah,
gluten-free.
if we eat
It's
the
gluten-free.
mattress,
If
we're
there's
gonna be
another
fine.
pandemic and you have to eat the mattress, now I like that website. BigNaturals.com is another website I like.
Huge. Yeah.
I'll check that one out.
Yeah,
Big
I'm sure
fan.
you've checked it out already. If you navigated to it right now on your computer, I'm pretty sure the link is already purple.
Research and development.
Yeah,
We were
you
looking
got
for-
to.
Be real about
yeah,
that. And that's
R&D.
fine. We don't slut shame here or kink shame or any of the other shaming. We only fat shame here.
That's it. That's
'Cause
all we
that'll
do.
save fat shaming will save your life.
If you're
right?
lucky. If you're
Well,
lucky.
if you allow the shame to do its job.
Engineering wise, what are you doing there?
He's a web engineer.
I'm a web geek.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck. I thought you were actually designing the beds. I was like, dude, are you
No,
having people
no.
fucking on these things?
digital engineering. Do I look like I do someone that does
Yes,
manual
dude.
labor?
It looks like, you know,
No,
you've
man.
listed some
This
things.
is all
and-
natural.
Boy. So it's digital, huh?
No, so I
We
code.
work together a lot.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
work, yeah.
And you code, huh?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll sprain a pinky or something like that.
Sure,
and that
sure,
really
sure,
hurts for a couple weeks, but
Yeah.
It's the carpal tunnel
yeah.
and the
I need one of those armrests.
the back injury. Yeah, you do.
It's
Two
a,
of them,
a
so I can
little
say
a little
yeah.
baby armrest that he's got. Yeah, that'd be nice for you. I thought for sure you were doing like fuck techniques and things
No,
like that.
no.
Is there someone who's hired there who does that? Is there like an R&D position?
Why would
like
it
We
be
need,
higher
we need a guy
or-
like Sergio.
Giorgio?
Same thing. You can call me whatever you
Yeah,
want.
it doesn't matter. For the right price, you can call him whatever you want.
I'm changing my name to Sergio right now.
Yeah,
whatever
he's
you want
fine.
to him.
Serge, I need you on a bed, Serge.
I'm gonna need you to do doggy real quick and then switch over to Mish. We don't know
Yeah.
how the gel handles it.
Yeah, and we got to figure out that time. You know, you got to keep a stopwatch on that. Is your boss going to be disappointed with his interview or happy about it?
He'll be stoked. No, I mean, honestly, like, we've been with you guys for what, 5 years almost, give or
feel like,
take,
yeah,
give
yeah,
or take,
yeah.
you know? So we let you guys do creative stuff. We don't give a shit. So, like, you know, that's one of the things we do, right?
Yeah, and
We
it's
let
one of
you
the
at
things
it.
that I want to commend you guys on because lately in the podcast world, you know, having obviously the Podfather on today with Adam Carolla, ad reads when it started, you know, 6 or 7 years ago was what you guys let us used to do, right? We're just like, talk about the product, say you love it, say it's crazy and all this other shit. Say whatever you want, but it's genuine. And we don't take any products on the show that we don't like. So we've always loved your products, but as the years have gone by, more and more sponsors have been like, can you just keep it to the ad read and not say the crazy shit? And it was just like, hey, dude, like, if we don't say the crazy shit, then I don't know if people will understand how much I love your fucking product. But it's coming from corporate and 6 other people and blah, blah, blah. The other thing you guys have done, which I think is genius, and this is for any fucking media company out there, I know I said on Ross Patterson Revolution this morning, was use the same fucking promo codes. Just ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. If you're a business out there and you're looking to get into podcasts, advertising, or whatever, use the same promo codes. Nobody wants to hear 80 different fucking promo codes. They won't remember it. This one they will remember forever. And I'm sure people go to sleep going, God damn, if Ross says ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros one more fucking time, I'm gonna lose my shit. But it's true and it helps, and it's like, all right, great. It's a great product. Let's get out to the world with it, which is why we signed on with you guys for another 2 years, and we are unbelievably grateful, and it's great to have Ghostbed back.
Hey,
We
guess
love it.
Guess who set up that URL for you?
Who's that?
This guy.
Boom.
I'm just let
Lap dance.
me fucking pump the brakes right quick. It takes it takes 12 seconds to do that.
You just worry about whatever you're doing over there. I'll worry about this stuff.
Oh, that's great. 12 seconds. Is that the right amount of time?
About 12 seconds.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
if for a landing page, you're just creating basically. I don't know what platform. You guys are on.
Shopify.
Shopify.
Oh, you're on Shopify.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. You really just, I mean, almost you just duplicate a page and then swap out the pictures, rename it, and fucking that's it.
So, I mean, you're
Wrong.
basically just getting rid of his shop right now.
Wrong.
Dan, stop outing this guy.
No,
Trying to stay
Shopify.
employed.
Shopify is pretty easy.
Yeah, we have Shopify for all of our stuff, right?
Yeah, some asshole like the people that originally did our beard company there before we bought into it started out in like some old fucking like Python. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
You're making an e-commerce
simple.
platform on Python. Why?
Yes. Keep all of this stuff simple. Use the same URLs. Use the same fucking site.
Yeah, it's super easy. You don't want to put too much effort into that shit. There's other things to be done like search engine optimization and web tracking and things like that.
Yeah.
That's where I came from, by the way.
Was it really?
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
How long you been with the company?
I've been in the company about 5 years, three years full time, altogether 5 years. So
Shit.
I love it.
And you guys
It's
are in
awesome.
Costco and all the other stuff.
We are.
We don't
Yeah.
promote that as much because they can't get a discount with that.
Cannot
But you
get a
guys are big time
discount.
now.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Keeping
yeah,
people
you
low.
are.
Yeah. No, we are. We have
Brag, dude.
We have
You can
85
brag.
people in our company.
Holy shit.
85. So we have a lot of people.
Wow. That's a lot of people, man. How many people you have working with you?
Not as many as I need.
Okay.
Shopify.
He's using the fucking podcast to bitch at his bosses to get more employees. Which is fine, by the way. We let people promote their products on here. You may as well go ahead and fucking. You have
Jacob.
grievances.
He's like
with
looking for a
C.
developer.
What do you
Yeah,
need, Jacob?
I'm
What do you need?
Shopify developer, React,
Yeah.
Vue, JavaScript. We need it. So give us a call.
Hell yeah.
And if Shopify
Oh,
is
you
so
guys,
simple,
you guys are hiring right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
it took us a year to get our Shopify back up, so it's like
Well,
everything we
that's
said.
it isn't because we didn't fucking. It's because we didn't have time to do it.
We had a retarded man running it too. So let's be real. We love him, and that special retard will be with us next week, Jared. But
I'm going to hold him deeply in an embrace.
you should.
Yeah, he's coming on Wednesday to do a show about the First Amendment with myself and Dakota on American Party podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to be addressing Prince Harry's comments about how incredulous he is that the First Amendment exists. Like it's bananas, man. I don't get it. Like, oh yeah, well get the fuck out.
Yeah. And I said earlier, he doesn't sleep on a ghost bed, so fuck him anyways. You know.
No, I mean he's whatever he's sleeping on. He needs to put some fucking stuff on his head to make his hair grow back, probably, right? But I think it's just from decades and centuries, maybe even of inbreeding in the British royal family.
could be. Rich, you shave voluntarily. You're not bald.
No,
I shave voluntarily. Yeah, my wife gets my hair cut every about 2 weeks.
Really?
I go through it. Yeah.
Proud of you.
How much does she charge for that?
A little bit of ball, little bit, but not much. No, I like it very short.
I get it.
It's free.
I get my hair cut every 10
good
days
deal.
because
I'm like, Dad.
I'm really irritated by having to do stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I wake up and I need to be somewhere and there's this whole, every morning when I wake up, I'm like, God, I got to fucking take my stupid bitch ass dogs out. Then I have to feed them. Then I have to give them treats. Then I have to fucking make myself presentable and then go. Fuck that. I want to get up and go.
Yeah.
So the more I can cut off of all that bullshit, I've killed the dogs. They're gone. So the next reasonable thing to do is just get a haircut more
That's it.
frequently.
Yeah. That's all there is.
And now the dogs are stuffed. They just sit there. I still get to enjoy their company, but I don't actually have any responsibilities.
Win-win.
Yeah, you're good to go.
My dogs are alive and fine, by the way.
No, they're not. They're dead in a ditch somewhere, and it's fine. But you can be alive and well and have a great night's sleep at ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Rich, Jacob, we appreciate you guys being
Thanks for having
here.
us.
Yeah, and if you're
Thanks,
looking,
guys.
it's just this job. I assume it's
Remote.
remote. There's
Yep.
no geographical location. So
Yep.
if you're where you're posted on Indeed and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, go on. If you're a web developer, get on there and look.
Yeah, it's great
It's a great
company.
company to work for. I mean, we've said this for years. They take care of the people that take care of this country.
Yes.
Always have. Even during the pandemic, they started opening it up to nurses and teachers and everybody else. So it's a good fucking company to work for.
Great company. They were one of the first to do it, and we are.
You're the only company, the only major retail B2C company I know of that did that shit. That started giving blanket discounts to fucking nurses and teachers and had already been giving it to first
Firefighters.
responders.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Government employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't know of anybody else that does that.
Me neither.
I just want to say we thank your audience too. You know, I do like DMs with those guys and stuff like that, and they're really, really friendly, really nice guys and stuff like that. So if anybody has any questions, you can always DM me. You can always chat with me and stuff. I'm always available. So
What's your Instagram?
I think it's Rich Bernstein. I think
Rich
it's mine.
at
Yeah.
Rich.
At Rich.
At Rich.
At
dude.
Rich.
At Rich.
You
That'd
wish.
dope if
you
it
wish
was.
you had that.
I'll
Rich.
find them.
Nobody
I'll
had
find them.
that. Yeah, exactly.
No, I enjoy it. It's a great company to be with. So I like it. We have awesome products. Love being on the podcast too.
Yeah, dude. And we're grateful that you're back for another 2 years. We appreciate you being here. We're going to go out and get fucking wet tonight. For Dan Hollaway, Jacob Slatter, Rich Bernstein, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin Bros. Good night, everyone.